What is up, everybody? Preston here, and oh my gosh, 2021 just got a whole lot more interesting with a large set of new rules. I'm here to tell you them. I'm here to give you the lowdown on what I feel is the biggest changes. There are some minor changes and there's some things that I won't mention, but there's a link down below that you can click to go read the whole entire rules yourself. It's all highlighted in yellow and pretty, and it should be pretty easy to navigate. Anyway, the rules we're talking about today, the biggest changes. Number one is a 7-foot serving circle with a lean. Number two is a soft touch or consecutive touches. And the third is the no hit zone. It's only for Premier and Pro. So if you're not Premier Pro, A, you cannot watch the back half of the video. There might be some funny things. Or B, implement it when you feel is right, and I'll give you some examples of how to do so. All right, so getting into it, the first rule we're gonna talk about and explain more in depth is the 7-foot lean. It's fairly simple. It's a 7-foot circle from the edge of the net or 8.5 from the center of the net. So what that means, I'm gonna read you the actual rules from the new rule book just to really give you the clear, crisp picture of what it means. So after setting the service position and during the act of serving, including the swing, the follow through, and the momentum from the action, all points of contact must remain behind the 7-foot service line. So notice how it doesn't say anything about contacting the ball in front of the 7. That's where the lean comes in. You're allowed to be inside the circle as long as your points of contact with the ground are outside of the circle. That makes sense? The second thing about that is momentum-wise. It mentions momentum. And there's another rule I'm gonna read real quick that's really gonna clearly paint that picture for you. So the server must only make contact within the 7-foot service line after demonstrating the momentum from the action is stopped and reestablishing body control. So this is where you think it could get a little confusing, but if you're serving and your momentum, your power takes you inside the circle, that's no good. You have to serve, regain balance, and then you can go about your way. Or you can burn off movement laterally around the circle. You just can't go in due to momentum. And then the last thing, this is a new serving rule change, is the server does not maintain one point of contact with their pivot foot until the ball hits the net. If that occurs, it's gonna be a fault. So this prevents people from really taking advantage of the rules or barely lifting their foot as they're contacting the ball, and it really clears up the gray area there in my belief, and it's gonna be very crisp and clean. So again, if you take a step, your pivot foot cannot lift until the ball touches the net. All right, the second thing we're gonna talk about is soft touch. I'm gonna read the rules real quick, and then we're gonna get into just a basic interpretation and just spell it out really clear for you. The first rule, at the first hit of a team on a possession, a player who has blocked a shot with all points of contact on or within the service circle may hit it once more consecutively. This action will be counted as a second hit. One more rule real quick, and then we're gonna talk about it. A block is a deflection off any part of the player's body, hand, arm, legs, chest, etc., before the ball has begun a downward trajectory. So now just really basic terms, Preston terms, if you are inside the 7-foot circle or on it, and you get that first body touch, it could be off anything, doesn't matter, you're able to pursue and go get a second touch on the ball. And again, it's treated as a second touch. It's not, you just get free touches galore. And the second thing was that downward trajectory cannot be taking place. So if it's a drop shot and it goes whoop, and you contact it here, that is not a block. The ball has to be on the rise and an upward trajectory for you to block the ball and then be allowed a second touch. All right, last thing with soft touch, then we're moving on. If you get that body touch, that second hit cannot be a hit on the net. So you really have to make sure your teammate's aware that you are 1-2ing to them for the 3 on the net. All right, lastly is the no hit zone. Again, this only applies to Premier and Pro players. So if you're not one, you can try it out, but you don't have to. It's up to you. The rule though, the 1.5-foot area around the edge of the net is the no hit zone. Maybe we can come up with a fun name. Pickleball's got the kitchen. Roundnet could have the, I don't even know, the peanut butter jelly zone. Whatever you think, comment below. The final hit of all possessions must be initiated outside of this area. So there's a few things in this. the final hit. If you are not hitting the ball on the net, you can be inside the 1.5 foot zone. If you are hitting the ball on the net, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, your feet have to be outside of the 1.5 foot zone. So you can flip over the net, you can do a bunch of stuff, but this is where it gets semi-tricky, but again, bear with me, it's pretty simple. If I'm hitting and my momentum takes me inside, physically stepping, making contact with the ground inside the 1.5 foot zone, that will be ruled as bad. So if I'm hitting, I need to hit, I need to regain my stability, my balance, show in some form that my momentum's not carrying me in, and then you can go about play. It's really, really simple. Get your feet set, hit a ball, make it really clean so no one could even call you on anything. If you want to jump over, you can't jump over and land in it because then you're still going to be technically, during the process of that hit, inside the 1.5 foot zone. Hopefully that makes pretty clear sense. It's not that complicated in my mind. If you got questions, obviously drop them below. Another quick thing about no hit zone, you cannot use somebody who is inside the no hit zone to regain balance. So if your partner's standing within the hit zone, you can't just push off him and regain balance. However, something fun that I was thinking about is if I'm falling, my partner can grab me and pull me back out as long as they're not inside the no hit zone. So experiment, have fun with that. Last little thing about the no hit zone. This is from a defensive perspective, but keeping in mind that's the final possession that says that you cannot be in it. If you're on defense and you're inside the 1.5 foot zone and you body it and it goes off the net as a hit, technically that is no good anymore. So you feel free to body inside all you want and maybe use that new soft touch rule. But if you are hitting as the last hit of your possession on the net, that is ruled as no good. So no more hands of gods, body of gods, whatever you want to call them. Those are now ruled bad if you are within inside the 1.5 foot zone. If you're on the 6 foot circle and you yap at it, feel free. That's still going to be good. All right, last thing I want to say is if you're a premier and or pro player and you're playing with people who don't want to adhere to these rules, but you do, that's an easy fix. All you got to do is paint the lines down and then play normal rules. Have your 7 foot line, have your 1.5 foot no hit zone. You can adhere to them while the other 3 don't. It's a very simple fix. I think it's honestly a great thing. You can play, every level all in one. Anyway, those are the 3 biggest rule changes. There are other rule changes that I want you guys to check out. Go inform yourself, go gain some Roundnet knowledge and really know the game for 2021 because there's a lot of big changes. And if I didn't do a great enough job, well, go read the rules and hopefully that makes sense. All right, well, that's what I got for you today. Those are the biggest changes. Again, there's some smaller stuff. I ask that you go read the rules for yourself just so you know what's going on and stuff that I did not talk about. Then you'll be like, now I understand. Anyway, I ask that you guys have a healthy mindset, a growth mindset about these rules. I don't know if they're perfect. I don't know if they're bad. I don't know if they're whatever. But the thing is, we got to try them out so then we can change them if they're bad or keep them if they're great. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We're trying to hit that 10K mark. We're at like 8,500 right now. If you could just subscribe to get to 10K, that'd be sick. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. Preston out. Yo! We gotta get one more take. This is it. Right here. He's still taking it too low. Up! Yup!